before Srila Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Maharaj took sannyas, his name was Narottamananda Das Brahmachari, and he was well known in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's preaching force as one of the great preachers. He was a young boy, very beautiful and very enthusiastic, and traveled all over India, used to convert whole towns and villages, to bring them to his guru. So he was well known as one of the fiery, successful preachers. So he told this memory that one time he was in Bombay and they had a little Gaudiya Math there. Actually, Srila Prabhupada helped in establishing that in some ways, along with Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And when he used to go to Bombay, he was very active in that. And so at that time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came for a darshan, for a visit to that little temple. And they were sitting down all together like an Ishtagosi kind of thing with the godbrothers there, the disciples. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj was there, and Narottamananda Das Babaji Maharaj was there. Several other strong preachers. I think what's his name? Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj also was there. And our Srila Prabhupada as Abhay Charan Aravinda Prabhu was there. So they were talking with their Guru Maharaj, and he was again speaking about this order to go to the West. So in quite a strong way, he was saying, so I have ordered, and I want, who here will go? I'm wanting someone very strong preacher, one of our strong preachers to go. So he turned to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and he said, so, you are topmost, of our scholars and very senior. You can go to the West, you're qualified. And then in a very humble way, Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained, the exact words are written, but I don't have them, how his nature was not so much forward-going, but more, how did he say? Reserved. And also he couldn't so much understand the inflection of the Westerners and in their English, because they were used to very proper British English, and we were, like Americans, and so he wasn't sure he could do like that, and so he was just saying, I don't know if I can do like that. And then their Guru Maharaj turned to this Narottamananda Das Brahmachari, and he said, oh, so you go. He goes, you are a very active preacher. You have been so much success everywhere. I am hearing about this many people, taking Harinam, and so many people by your hand. So I want you to go. And so then Narottamananda Das Brahmachari, he began to, he fell down at his Gurudev's feet and he began to weep. And he said, oh Gurudev, please don't ask me to go. He goes, I'm just a little boy. I'm just so young, I'm like your son. If I had to go away to the West all by myself, I would die. I would die of missing you. I don't have the strength. It's not in my capacity to do it. He said, and then Gurudev was kind of like rubbing his head, and he said, oh, don't think like that, don't worry. He said, no, please. He goes, and if you give me that order, and I fail, then I will fall down forever. I couldn't please you. He goes, but here I know I can please you. But there I don't think. And he was weeping like a little baby. He was telling his disciple. And so then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was embracing him with love. And then he said, he looked up and then he looked over at across the table where our Srila Prabhupada was sitting, and he said, anyway, no worry. No one need to worry. He goes, Abhay Babu, he will do it. So that devotee remembered that very deeply, and he said he never forgot that. And so when it actually happened, he had one more realization of his Gurudev's omniscience and also of Srila Prabhupada's potency. Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj weren't all very much had service together in the early days. They were both editing different literatures of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and they preached in different areas. And then after the breakup of the Gaudiya Math, Srila Puri Maharaj became like a Kinchana Babaji. And for many years he traveled with Krishnadas Babaji, and around Vrindavan and just had like a pot and japa mala beads, and was very brahmachari still and very humble. But he had actually been very close to their Guru Maharaj as well as both a pujari, his personal pujari, and as a singer. He was a very beautiful kirtaniya. So apparently when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was leaving from this world, there's some history that he asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj to sing for him Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. And some of the other devotees wanted Puri Maharaj, who was in a brahmachari, to sing. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj to sing. And so also, when Srila Prabhupada was just, when he had first come back from America, he brought a few devotees with him, and he would invite some of his different godbrothers to come, and he would try and explain to them what was happening. You know, this amazing revolution of Krishna consciousness that was happening. And he brought this reel-to-reel tape recorder that had all the devotees on Harinam Sankirtan singing so they could hear all the different voices. And Prabhupada played it quite loudly. And so at one point in Mayapur, there were several occasions that they met and discussed, but at that time Puri Maharaj wasn't preaching as much as he was chanting a lot and wandering like a mendicant. But at one point, I think he took sannyas and he was beginning to get a following. And he went to Mayapur to see Srila Prabhupada, and at that time Srila Prabhupada offered, he wanted to offer some Mahaprasadam to him with some water. But he gave it to him through the hands of one of the Western disciples who, not knowing proper sadachar and etiquette, touched it to his hand to his mouth first and then just kind of handed it. And so pretty much he couldn't do it. He just wasn't able to because he was from a very, very high class Brahmin family, never had taken anything like that, and so he declined. And one other little bit of information to be known, which is in the Prabhupada letter book, and which Srila Puri Maharaj himself told me that he was very glad that everyone knew about this letter, was that at one point he actually he was preaching in Bengal and he got a temple donated, like a mandir donated by some king. And but it was dilapidated and he had no funds and no man to help. And he had seen how Prabhupada was developing Bombay and Mayapur and Vrindavan, and so he wrote one letter to our Srila Prabhupada saying, I am also now starting to preach, and I have one temple, and I'm seeing the wonderful preaching that you're doing, and I'm hoping that you might give one donation to help me with my work. And so the letter is actually on file, and anyone can find it. The gist of it being that Srila Prabhupada said, it's very wonderful that you are preaching like this. Our Gurudev wanted this very much. He said, and I would be so much happy to make a donation, of Lakshmi to you. But he said, I know that you are very, very high class and Pakka Brahmin, and this Lakshmi has come through the hands of the Malechas, and therefore I think it would be impossible for you to accept it because it's contaminated. So Srila Puri Maharaj, even when he was telling me about the letter, I nodded that I knew about the letter, and he laughed in a very sweet way.